23 families, some with children, arrived by bus at the massive shelter at Floyd Bennett Field in Brooklyn today. But many of those families said it wasn't good enough, and they got right back on the bus.
This mother told us, "I'm extremely grateful for everything they've given me, but I can't stay here," explaining that this is just too far from where her children have been going to school. Floyd Bennett Field is far from just about everything, and most of the families who arrived on 2 buses this afternoon got back on the buses, saying this just won't work. But this man, who says he's here with his disabled daughter, says he wasn't told where they were coming.
Nos trajeron engañados. No deberían de hacer eso, eso es malo. Pónganse la mano en el corazón.
His daughter saying they shouldn't have done this. Put your hand on your heart.
Eso no es posible. Eso es un centro de detención. Eso no es un albergue, es un centro de detención. No venimos acá eso, venimos a trabajar, que no hay permiso de trabajo. Aquí paguemos nuestras cosas.
It's almost as if we told y'all about this. We warned you that these immigrants will be an enormous strain on resources. We told you guys for years that we can't just wave a magic wand and take care of the entire planet. But the Democrats said no. If you are against having illegal immigrants flood the country, particularly in Texas and Arizona, if you're against this, you're a bigot. You must be racist if you don't think we can pull money out of our ass and create houses out of thin air to house illegal immigrants. But now they're feeling it up close and personal, and you see how these immigrants are being extremely ungrateful. These immigrants are yelling and complaining, saying, "I can't do this." They went and looked at this field, this upgraded version of a tent city. They looked at it and said, "Hell no, we out of here." And why would they do that? Didn't they come through the jungle? Didn't they come through the Darien Gap to get here? Well, they did it because for the last several months, the New York City taxpayers have been paying to house these people in $300, $400, $500 a night hotels. These people have been living in luxury hotels, having housekeepers come in and clean up after their nasty asses, and having the city spend tens of millions of dollars to wash and fold their dirty drawers. So you're going to take them from those type of luxury environments to put them in an upgraded version of a tent city? They said, hell no, we don't want anything to do with that. So New York City and all these other sanctuary cities, these liberal blue cities who talk all this crap, you did it to yourself. Let's look into this situation. Let's see what happened at Floyd Bennett Field. Let's get an update on what's going on in New York. This is a Vice Signal podcast. So we got a lot going on in New York. Things are getting pretty interesting. So after a year and a half of dealing with the migrant issue, Eric Adams started talking trash about the Biden administration. He basically started calling them out. First, he got into it with his governor, with Kathy Hochul, the hand-me-down governor of New York. Then he started publicly saying, look, man, I'm dealing with over 100,000 illegal immigrants. Well, he calls them migrants because you can't call them illegal immigrants because apparently that's racist. So he said, I'm dealing with so many illegal immigrants. I'm not getting money from the feds. This is a federal issue. We saw him going around doing all these speeches. We saw him giving interviews on all these news outlets saying how terrible it is and how the Biden administration needs to step up and do their job and send us some money. Because deep down, he doesn't want them there, but he knows in order to be a Democrat mayor of the largest Democrat city in a country, he has to fall in line with the machine. He has to fall in line with the hive mind and go along to get along. But Joe Biden sent him a warning. They had to pull out the whip on his ass. They said, look, man, you getting out of line. Who the hell do you think you are? So Biden sent the FBI after him.
New York City Mayor Eric Adams is demanding that the FBI stop leaks of its probe into his campaign financing. As new details emerge about the investigation, the agency is looking into whether the mayor's 2021 campaign conspired with the Turkish government and others to receive illegal donations.
Last week, the FBI seized several of Adams' advice. One piece of the inquiry reportedly involves whether Adams pressured city officials to open Manhattan's Turkish consulate that year, despite safety concerns. The mayor has denied any wrongdoing.
So they're basically telling the mayor, oh, you just thought we'll do this to Trump? We can do it to you. We got dirt on you. We're all dirty, sleazy, shitbag politicians. We're all running money. We all got nasty skeletons in our closet. So we got your dirt. And if you keep going around running your mouth talking about how bad Biden is, it's an election season, you talking about how bad Biden is, you the mayor of the largest liberal city in the country, you need to shut the hell up and fall in line. Or we might have to take your job from you. We might even lock your ass up. We might bankrupt you. You see how we doing things to Trump? You see how we're trying to bankrupt Trump? You see how we have the entire Democrat machine going after Trump? You be easy pickings. You see what we did to Andrew Cuomo? We got his ass out of there. Don't think for 1 second that you run New York City. So the Democrat machine has pulled out the whip and is telling Eric Adams to fall the hell back in line. It got pretty nasty because he was in D.C. actually. He was going to meet with some Biden officials and ask for more money, and they were probably going to give him a little bit, but not enough to deal with what he has to pay for with these illegal immigrants. So he was in D.C. getting ready for that. Next thing you know, his largest campaign donor, their home was raided by the FBI. So he hurried up, went back to New York because he knew that something was going down. Because what he didn't tell us that day, he spoke to the press about it, but what he didn't say is that the FBI had already talked to him and that he's already under some type of investigations. So what the FBI did to him, it was a Debo move. The FBI found this man in broad daylight, in public, just walking down the street, and they pulled up to him and told his security staff to get the hell out the way. Went right to this man right there and confiscated his electronics. They didn't send him a letter. They didn't make a phone call, subpoena the court. They didn't have his lawyers contact him and say, let's meet over here. No. They pulled up to this man like the damn mob. It was a mafia move. It was a message to him, and now he's begging for mercy. He's saying, why do we have to make this public? Why are y'all leaking everything? Please reprimand the people who are leaking. Don't you get it, Eric Adams? The entire point of this is a public whipping. They don't give a damn about what you were doing with these Turkish officials. If you were running money, if you were getting campaign donations through some Turkish officials, they don't give a damn about that. They need to whoop your ass in the public eye in order to put you back in line and in order to send a message to any other Democrat, higher level Democrat, who might be thinking about getting out of line. So Brandon Johnson in Chicago, that Denver mayor, whoever the hell it is, all of them are watching this, and all of them know in order to maintain their money, their positions, they need to fall in line. So this is going to continue. They might have to make a true example out of you by forcing you out of office, or maybe they'll just cool it down from here after sending you a warning. We're going to see what happens. But you can beg for mercy. It's not going to stop. All right, now let's get back to this immigrant crisis. So since April 2022, when Greg Abbott came up with this idea, him and his team came up with this idea of sending these illegal immigrants to New York City, over 140,000 of them have hit New York City. And apparently more than half of them are already gone. I wonder where the hell they went and how they went. What made them want to leave New York? Because I thought everybody loved some New York. But they're dealing with about 65,000 currently in New York, and they're getting thousands per day. Bus loads driving. Those bus jobs, man, they got some job security, because as long as this border's wide open, they're going to keep flooding in. But New York City is at its breaking point. They tried to make all these small border towns in Texas, these places that didn't have the resources, these places that were always getting ignored by the feds and by the media, they tried to make them deal with it. But now New York has to deal with it. Now New York has to wave its magic wand and make money poof out of there and there. The state of New York is spending $20 million on jobs programs for illegal immigrants. How does that even make sense? Illegal immigrant job program, taxpayers are paying $20 million in order for illegal immigrants to get jobs. Man, I thought y'all said they weren't a strain of resources. I thought y'all said they were a positive good. They're net good to society. So instead of the city creating jobs programs for the locals, instead of the $20 million going to local projects, to local needs, to boost business in the state of New York, to boost incomes in the state of New York to decrease crime in New York. No, $20 million just for now. $20 million going to illegal immigrants getting jobs that New Yorkers should have, but the illegal immigrants are going to have. But the New Yorkers voted for this, so I don't give a damn. I have no sympathy at all for them. And what they're also doing is they're assigning caseworkers to every migrant. It's almost like a social welfare program. You're assigning caseworkers to all of these people to make sure that they're housed properly, to help them with asylum paperwork, and to make sure the kids at school, kids got everything they need. They're getting all the free stuff available to them, free PlayStations and everything. So it's insane. Y'all New Yorkers are spending so much money on these illegal immigrants. And Eric Adams, he's trying to fly some of them out of the city. We don't know how many of them are going to leave, but he's offered them a free one-way ticket to anywhere in the world. Just get the hell out of New York. And the reason why is because they're running out of space. They've rented out as many hotels as they can, all these luxury hotels. They've had resistance, but they've been able to turn schools and old gyms, airfields into it. And now they have the Floyd Bennett Field. They just leased this federal land, this old airstrip. And they built a gigantic tent city that's supposed to house a couple of thousand immigrants. So we're going to look at what's going on there, because the immigrants arrived there, the illegal immigrants arrived there, and they said, no, we too bougie for this. We've been living in luxury hotels. Why the hell would I want to sleep on some cot in a tent by the harbor? It's windy, it's cold. I'm used to living in Manhattan. So let's take a look at this. First migrants arrive at New York City's Floyd Bennett Field only to scoff and leave isolated site after just one look around. Disaster waiting to happen. The first batch of migrants was bused to Floyd Bennett Field's makeshift tent city in Brooklyn on Sunday and wanted no part of it. Dozens of migrant families arrived at the controversial remote housing site courtesy of the Adams administration shortly after 12:30 p.m., looked around, and promptly hopped back on the bus to try to return to their previous shelters. Yeah, because you had these guys sitting in luxury hotels for months. You had people sweeping, cleaning up after them, all the services they needed, legal aids coming to see them. They were able to quickly get to all of the stores and facilities they wanted using taxpayer funds. They were able to confiscate, I don't know how the hell they got all these scooters, these motorized bikes, but apparently they're been like piled outside the hotel, some of them in the hotel. Police claim they don't know where they come from. Stolen maybe. But they had all of this stuff. They don't want to go to a tent city. How the hell are you going to take somebody from a Roosevelt hotel, $300-400 a night hotel, to put them in a tent city sleeping on a cot with like 500 other people around them? We weren't told where we were going. One of the bus migrants' dads great to the Post. Whoa, wait a minute. We weren't told where we were going. Isn't this what they say about Greg Abbott? They said Greg Abbott is human trafficking. He's taking migrants, stuffing them on the bus, and sending them to wherever the hell he wants. So if that's the case, it sounds like, Eric Adams, are you human trafficking? If we're going by Democrat complaints, I guess he is too. I work in the Bronx. My kids go to school in the Bronx, and for us to live out here is ridiculous. You see what I'm saying? Completely snobbish, completely ungrateful. You know how much it costs to live in New York City, to live in the Bronx area, to live in Manhattan? You want to live in Manhattan, because some of these migrants talking about they've been in Manhattan and they got jobs and school out there. If you want a basic apartment in Manhattan, you might be spending $7,000-8,000 a month. But they've been living there for free. They have no idea how much it actually costs to maintain a family there. But they're saying, damn this free tent city, we want to go back to our expensive luxury hotels that we're living in for free. We're going back, he fumed. Another migrant father bused to the field said he has been living at the Roosevelt Hotel in Midtown Manhattan. I mean, that's one of the most expensive areas in the country. And you're living there for free, and you just think that you're supposed to live there forever for free? Taxpayer dimes? The city processing site for the migrants, and was headed back there. Okay, you want to head back there, since they're not going to deport your ass. You want to head back to Midtown? Pay for everything yourself. Watch how quickly he leaves. They're going to take us back to the train so we can go back. Damn, even demanding to have the bus driver take them to certain spots. Man, Free bus ride, no, not good enough. Free tent city, nope, not good enough. Why don't they just let these people fend for themselves? It's cold already and winter hasn't even hit yet. So you let these people fend for themselves, see how quickly they come crawling back for these tents out there in icy New York City. They're going to take us back to the train so we can go back to 45th Street, he said. We didn't know we were coming here. More human trafficking by Eric Adams. They just said they were taking us to a shelter. I cannot stay here. This is crazy. Wow. So you can see right here part of it, how it looks. Got a little intaking tent right here. Then there's a big one. Some of them, they have them lined up, cafeteria style, bunch of folded tables lined up with hundreds of chairs, basically, like a large makeshift cafeteria. And then the rest of them are just cots lined up, even though it looks like a COVID super spreader, but I guess that doesn't count anymore. So I guess she's gazing through the window looking in disgust. Like, this ain't a hotel. I thought I was going to a better hotel. What is this? About 2,000 asylum seekers from the U.S. border with Mexico are expected to eventually be housed at the site, which has drawn widespread criticism for everything from its remote location to fire concerns. Then let's go down here and look at this. They said, it's so isolated, how could I possibly get back and forth to work, or getting my children to school from here would be insane. So they all asked to leave. So the city spent all this money, all these resources, all this time building this upgraded version of a tent city for these migrants, just for them to put their nose in the air and to say, no, we're snobs. We're too elite for this. This is for po folk. This is for po folk. You put your regular New Yorker, you put the American homeless people in here, you put homeless veterans, people falling on hard times, you can put them in these tents. But you need to send us back to the Row Hotel, back to the Roosevelt Hotel, because we bougie now. This ain't good enough. How the hell am I supposed to get back to work and my kids to school? We from Manhattan. We Manhattan people. I don't pay $8,000-9,000 a month to live in Manhattan, but we Manhattan people. So you need to fund our Manhattan lifestyles. I need a luxury hotel. I need a PS5. I need a backpack full of goods. I need food stamps. I need a phone. And New York City taxpayers, because you guys are complete idiots, y'all need to pay for it for me. You guys are idiots because y'all sit here and allow Eric Adams to do it. So I need to go to a luxury hotel to collect my free goods. Oh man, these migrants are playing y'all, man. New Yorkers, y'all need to do something. Y'all cannot let this go. I wouldn't let this shit slide. But speaking of these migrants, speaking of Greg Abbott and what he did, we're going to talk about Texas. We're going to move from New York. We're going to go down to the border and see what Texas has been trying to do. So Texas is ground zero in the U.S. anyways for the illegal immigration issue. This is where the vast majority of illegal immigrants cross. Of course, we got New Mexico, Arizona, and California, but it's by far Texas. Eagle Pass, McAllen, and El Paso, Texas, that's where they're coming in. And of course, areas outside of that. And one big issue with them coming in there is the Rio Grande. So we know Trump was building border wall, but they didn't have a plan when they started the wall on how to deal with the river, because most of the border, or pretty much all of the border between Mexico and Texas, is a river. So it's easier to build a wall in California and Arizona versus Texas. And like I said, this is where the biggest population of these illegal immigrants are coming in. So Texas has been ravished for decades. These border towns, these towns in these southern Texas counties have been completely infiltrated. These towns are basically half American and half Mexican in other places, because there's so many illegal immigrants, there's so many anchor babies, there's so many people who shouldn't be there. And that's why Texas is getting close to being a purple state, is getting close to being 50-50 Republican and Democrat, because all of Texas is red, except for the large cities, obviously. And the southern part, all those counties on the border, because these illegal immigrants come in and they start voting as illegal immigrants, and then they're anchor babies grow up and they vote 2 out of 3 for the Democrat. But the feds haven't been helping at all with this issue. The feds, in fact, They bragged about authorizing a certain amount of money. I forgot how many billions of dollars it was, but Joe Biden was bragging on having money to help with the border crisis. But what he didn't say is that money is for Border Patrol to process these illegal immigrants into the country. So they come in seeking asylum, and Border Patrol will just catch and release them. They'll catch them, or the migrants just walk up. The illegal immigrants just walk up to a Border Patrol station, and they get a court date for 8, 9, 10 years from now, and they're allowed to stay in the country until their court date, which they're probably not going to show up at that point. It's been a decade. So Texas is done dealing with this Democrat game because they know that the Democrats' long-term plan is to turn Texas blue by flooding them with illegal immigrants like they did Arizona. So Texas said, you know what? We don't need the feds. We're one of the largest, most powerful states in the union. We'll enforce the border ourselves. We'll enforce our own border and our own security. So Texas is passing a law now where any officer in Texas will be allowed to, if they suspect a person of being an illegal immigrant, they'll be allowed to check them, and local judges in Texas will be authorized to send those people back across the border. So you have people crying, oh, this is racial profiling, this is so bad, you just can't suspect somebody because they're Latino or Chinese or Arab. You can't suspect them of being an illegal immigrant. This is just racist. And they're also saying, well, if you're going to profile them, it's going to make them scared to call the cops. So if you have an illegal immigrant in the United States, in Texas, who needs help, they're going to be scared to call the cops because they're an illegal immigrant. And I say, why the hell are they here to begin with? And I actually support Texas enforcing its own border. So those people can cry all they want, but what they don't know is not even going to be racial profiling, because a lot of those officers in Texas are Latino and other minorities. A lot of the people at Border Patrol are Latino. So they always crying, all these people arresting the migrants, these people checking the migrants, these people building the wall are just racist. The majority of those people doing this are Latinos. The majority of the people building the walls are Latinos. So they're racist against themselves, or these crying Democrats are just trying to create an excuse to let the border remain wide open. And what they're trying to do is they're saying Texas doesn't have the authorization to do this to begin with, because Texas doesn't have power to enforce federal laws. So the feds should be doing this, and Texas should just shut the hell up if the feds want to enforce it, or they don't want to enforce it. Texas should just shut the hell up about it. So there was a 2012 ruling. Arizona passed a similar law where they could suspect someone of being an illegal immigrant and check them. And back in 2012, during the Obama years, the Supreme Court shut it down. But now you have a 6-3 majority in the Supreme Court. So Texas can pass this, and it can be pushed back to the Supreme Court. And the Supreme Court could overturn its own ruling from 2012 and say, yeah, Texas, you're authorized to do this because we see Biden playing this game. I don't know if the Supreme Court is going to do this. I don't know, because the Supreme Court has been kind of soft. They try to avoid getting involved in these hot topic issues like the election interference issue and other issues. But this needs to be challenged in the Supreme Court to allow Texas to use its own resources to provide security and border patrol for its own people, for its own Texans. So we're going to see how that goes. But another thing that Texas has been doing is building the walls. We know Biden is building Trump's wall in Arizona in certain spots. He's quietly building Trump's wall, even though they said the wall is racist and wouldn't work. Texas is using his own money to continue Trump's wall. And like I said, a lot of the border, most of the border between Texas and Mexico is a river. So one thing that Texas has done is they put barbed wire on the river. So when these illegal immigrants try to cross the river, they have this massive barrier that they just can't get by. And what was seen on video was federal officers coming down there and cutting the barbed wire. You have Border Patrol cutting the barbed wire that the Texans put up. Saying, Texas, look, we're going to open this border and let these illegal immigrants in. We know y'all don't want them in your state, but we're federal. We don't give a damn about what y'all want. So we're opening the border and we're letting these illegal immigrants flood your state. So you can't do a damn thing to stop us from doing it, which Texas sued Biden for doing that, and Texas won. So it's not completely over with, but there's a emergency order to freeze the Border Patrol's actions and cutting that barbed wire unless somebody's about to die or something. Like, if there's an extreme medical emergency, yeah, you can cut through the wire and go help a person. But besides that, you need to leave the wire up. And another thing that Texas did was put large buoys in the middle of the Rio Grande to stop these swimmers. So it goes pretty deep. It's pretty high up, hard to climb over, hard to swim under. So it was a very effective barrier. And again, here come the feds interfering, saying move the barrier out the way and let the illegal immigrants in. So we have these ongoing fights. We have a fight going on between the state of Texas and the federal government over illegal immigrants, because the feds are saying, damn you, Texas, we want to turn you into a blue state, so we're going to flood you with illegal immigrants. Some of these illegal immigrants are Chinese nationals and spies, and some of them are terrorists from the Middle East. But we don't give a damn because we have a larger Democrat agenda. So we're going to see how that whole thing goes, but we're going to move on to another story. We're going to talk about the breakdown of the family and how desperate people are starting to get. But first, a word from our sponsor, me. As we discuss today's topics and ideas, remember that your ideas and your values can be expressed by the things that you wear. Check out our thoughtfully curated merchandise celebrating traditional values and government restraint. Explore our unique collection, starting with the Supreme Style tinfoil hat, a statement piece that embodies our commitment to critical thinking and pushing back against the norm. Make a statement with the Free Trump shirt, boldly displaying the captivating mugshot of the former president, which instantly became the most famous picture in the world. At the Bicycle Merch Store, we're more than just products. We're a community dedicated to celebrating and defending traditional values. Sign up for promotions and receive 10% off your very first order. Don't miss out on these exceptional items. Embrace tradition, champion freedom, and shop now at tvsmerch.com. So look at what Target is selling. Look what I stumbled across. They're selling at-home insemination kits. And some of the images that you're going to see, I'm going to have to blur them out because it gets pretty bad, because very inappropriate for YouTube. But why are they selling this? We're going to talk about why they're selling this. First, let's look at these pictures here. So as you can see, I don't really need to explain what the hell this is, but do-it-yourself insemination kits. And look at some of these images. I know I had to blur some, but as you can see, we got over here is showing you how to do it, like step by step, every step. Got the lady sitting in her bed, I guess, getting ready to do it. And this picture right here at the bottom is wild. You got the kiwi, I guess that's supposed to be the balls, and then the papaya over here. So what's going on with all this? Well, the family's breaking down. More and more women are single. More and more women are putting off having families, and more women are falling to the wrong mentality where they can't maintain a man. They're running men off. They're running the quality men off anyway because of their personality, because of the way they approach relationships. And a lot of this is due to decades of feminism and the breakdown of the family in American society. When the government has incentivized women to kick the man out of home or to be in a home without men, to be a single mother, when they say, look, you need to put off having a family until you're 35, 40 years old, until you're getting wrinkles and turning into an old bag. You don't need to be with a man while you're 20, 25. You need to go and live your life and have your fun. And then when you're an old bag, then you can settle down with somebody. You need to go to school for 10 years so you can go work in the widget factory for some other man, instead of actually trying to get married and build a relationship in your prime years at the peak of your youth and beauty. Now, you need to spend your youth and beauty on Chad and Tyrone's. Let them use you up, burn you out. So a lot of these women are doing this. Millions of women are falling into this. They're hitting their 30s, mid-30s, and their biological clock is hitting them. And they're saying, damn, I need a man, but I got a terrible attitude. Nobody wants to be with me. Nobody wants to marry me except for some simps and and low quality guys. So this is what the result of that is. Sperm banks are in high demand, especially if you're a minority like you black. Sperm donors are desperately needed. So sperm banks are begging for men to come and donate so they can sell it at a high profit rate. And these women are flocking to this. Not the ones, maybe the ones who froze their eggs and they're ready now, or just the ones who just can't find a man. They're flocking to the sperm banks only to not use the sperm bank in most cases, because come to find out, the sperm banks are making big money off of it. They're charging about $1,000 for a vial of you know what. So what have they done? These women have turned to Facebook. There's these Facebook groups, like there's this famous one. Let me show the picture here. These groups are a bunch of men who oftentimes for free are linking up with these women just to give them a vial of you know what. Free sperm donations on Facebook. So there's these Facebook groups with thousands of people. It's kind of risky because it's unregulated. You don't know who these people are. When you go to a sperm bank, it's very regulated by the FDA, and they're researching more into the genetics. If this person, the donor, is carrying some type of genetic defect, some type of trait that people wouldn't want, because they're doing all this extra research and stuff on these guys, then it's making it unaffordable for all of these old bags, all these women who want sperm donors. So yeah, desperate women are linking up with guys on Facebook, flying across the country, meeting in parking lots. And how do you know who these men are, what they've been doing, what their lifestyles are? You chatted with them on Facebook. And the guys, man, it's risky for the men. Like, it's something that I wouldn't recommend at all, because we've seen cases where guys would donate sperm and then a couple of years later they end up on child support. And they try to argue, well, I'm just a sperm donor. And the judge like, I don't give a damn about that. You need to pay. So it's a crazy story, and it shows you how far Western society has fallen. The fact that there's so many desperate people, and it's not even just couples where the husband has a low sperm count or some other issue like that. These are just these women who wanted to put things off, or who just have the personality to where they can't maintain a man, or it's lesbian couples. And obviously with gay marriage, we have a massive increase in lesbian couples with the culture of the United States. So those people want children, so that's going to increase demand. But if we can get back to a more normal society, then we wouldn't have problems like this. But yeah, I just thought this was interesting and at the same time gross to look at, because Target doesn't give a damn. Earlier this year, we had Target showing tuck bikinis for little boys, and now here they are showing vials of you know what. Not even censored or anything. So if you enjoyed today's episode, leave a like, share it, and I'll see you guys next time.